Is there a difference between parable and allegory? If so, what would those differences be then? Yeah.
I was trying to think of a good analogy, and maybe the analogy that could help would be if you have a road with a lot of bumps on it. And the question is, what's the difference between the road and the bumps? Well, you have to pay special attention to the bumps if you want to be good to your car or your vehicle. And there are places in many different kinds of stories that authors have written over the centuries that have a second level of meaning or have a symbolism of some kind. If one is familiar with the Chronicles of Narnia, one realizes that Aslan, the lion, in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, in some way symbolizes Jesus. He is bound toward the end of the book with ropes onto a flat table, and is sacrificed, is put to death. The details are not exactly like what you find in the gospel accounts. Jesus isn't bound with ropes, he's nailed to a cross, but the action is similar enough that you recognize this isn't just a story of fiction designed to interest, delight people, but there's a second level of meaning there. The question is figuring out where these places occur. There's a long history of people taking a story like the prodigal son and trying to come up with some specialized meaning for everything that the father does when he welcomes the prodigal back home. Gives him a ring, gives him, they butcher the fatted calf. He's given a new robe. He's given new sandals on his feet. And there, I don't think the point is that we are to find some special meaning in each of those details. All of those were normal things at a party thrown by a well-to-do person in ancient Israel. They simply work together to show you how lavish a welcome the boy is receiving. But clearly the prodigal and his older brother and the father, those three figures are meant in some sense to reflect the ways that God lavishes his love and forgiveness on the wayward of this world, those like the tax collectors and sinners in Luke 15, 1-2, that were coming to hear this parable, but also that the elder brother is meant to, in some way, represent the scribes, the Pharisees, the other Jewish leaders who opposed what he taught. So there's at least 3 bumps in that that you want to pay special attention to, slow down and analyze, drive slowly over, but don't turn all of the minor details into bumps of the same size.
What would you say then about this? I mean, the difference, parable and allegory.
The parable is the literary form. It's a short, metaphorical narrative. How allegorical it is a question of how the story was written. What are the characteristics of the story? Do they have inherent symbolism in them? And if so, how frequently?
Yeah. Okay. Very good.